Hi, listeners. Do I have an episode for you? My guest has been at three major U.S. accounting firms, a large management consulting firm, and three big law firms, all for leadership roles in sales and marketing. He's built programs, he's built teams, he's gone out and brought in entirely new clients, millions of dollars of new business and matters over his career. Lots to learn here. Enjoy. So, welcome, Marty, to the Future is Bright podcast. It's great to have you on the show.
Oh, Chris, thank you. And the future really is bright. So I'm happy to be with you here today.
Yes, it is. Thank you. So let's jump in and talk about this fun career that you've had in professional services sales. Who twisted your arm? What did you drink? How did you get into this world? Starting off at Grant Thornton, it probably wasn't Grant at the time, and I'm sure it's been a part of mergers. And then you've got big law, you've got management consulting. Give us an understanding a little bit of how this journey started and maybe a little bit of some of the companies you're at.
Well, the journey started literally by not knowing who Grant Thornton was. I had the opportunity to interview there. I was sort of at a fork in the road in my career, and I knew the executive search person, so I said, sure, happy to have the interview with Grant Thornton. They're looking for a top-level marketing person. I hung up the phone saying, who in the world is Grant Thornton? Went on the internet, found out who they said, oh, accounting. Well, my father will be proud. That's great. And it really started a journey and a passion for professional services, marketing, business development, and sales. And that passion is, I really think that in the world of professional services, it's the purest form of marketing, business development, and sales. And what I mean is, if you're selling an inanimate object, if you're selling a coffee mug or a pen, it's going to be perfect 99.9% of the time that it's made. It's that we have that perfection. In our business, we're talking about relationships and respect and trust. And every interaction is different, and every marketing and sales opportunity is different because you're dealing with a person, not an inanimate object. And I love the challenge of creating that value proposition, creating that respect and relationship, and growing it from there. So that was sort of the start, and It's been an amazing path since then.
So I have to ask, I mean, some people are naturally inclined towards sales, and you're kind of mixing sales and marketing together. Did you get training? Was it something you were doing, like selling vacuums or knives or something like that when you're younger? What was the propensity towards sales?
I actually avoided sales for a long time. I was somewhat scared of it, figured marketing was safe and enjoyable. What I saw was the move from marketing to need to be more accountable and really drive ROI. And it naturally led me towards sales. And I realized that through my marketing execution, I actually was selling.
Yep.
And I got turned on by the challenge and the rewards of selling. And in many ways, I do the job that many people don't want to do. But I love it. And so it was a natural progression from pure marketing to potentially business development to pure sales. But it felt very natural, and it has been.
Could you share with my audience some unique insights you've noticed differences? So you were at Grant Thornton for 5.5 years, and then you made a leap over to Holland and Knight for a stint, and then you went to BDO. So any anecdotal differences between those three types of entities?
Yeah, it's a great insight. There's really big differences between the world of an accounting/consulting firm and the law business. And it really has to do, I have this triangle I speak of with the firm, the client, and the partner. In the world of accounting and consulting firms, there's much closer alignment to this thing called the firm. The firm is very attached to the partner. The firm is very attached to the client, and vice versa. And I think the ability of the firm to impart best practices and guidance to the client and the partner is much different than in the law business, where the primary relationship is really between the partner and the client, as the partner represents the firm. And surely clients in our business buy the firm, but that relationship with the partner is a really unique relationship, much more unique and different, not better or worse than in the accounting world. So that dynamic of the relationship with the firm and the partner is different in the law business than the accounting business. And it presents really interesting challenges when you're someone like myself in my roles.
I know we're going to touch on that soon. Uh, let's see here. You went back to Grant Thornton from BDO. Why did you end up making that leap back?
Um, the offer I couldn't refuse.
Okay.
Grant's an amazing firm and offered me a new opportunity, and I jumped at it. It was great.
And then from Grant Thornton, you went to PwC, which was, I'm sure, a substantial step up and leap for size and scope. What was that like?
I mean, that's really what it was about. It was career progression. It was opportunity. Um, PwC is, in many ways, one of the gold standards of how professional services go to market. They had a significant position in the state of Florida. A lot of opportunities there. So it was the opportunity for growth and advancement, and a great opportunity.
So I can't help but notice, obviously, your hockey picture in the background and your last role at PwC, which was National Sports Sector, doing marketing director. Tell us a little bit about that. What were you up to?
PwC is very progressive and was surely progressive back then, and they started looking at industries as well as their what they call their service lines or their practice groups. And what they realized is they had a great portfolio of sports clients, except they weren't promoting it as a sports industry or a sports offering at that time. So I was part of a team that literally put a name and a face on this group of clients saying, we have a sports practice. And it was brilliant. We suddenly had a name and a face out there. There were speaking opportunities. There were clients that came to us because of the great PwC brand. And they have, in many ways, one of the preeminent sports practices in the Big Four right now.
That's exciting. And you were
Was.
part of orchestrating that?
Yes, I was.
Um, Care to share? Are you allowed to talk about the type of clients, the type of sports or
Oh,
clients you're
sure.
working with? Yeah.
I mean, at that time it was everything from individual teams to leagues to ownership groups to arenas to potentially individual talent, individual athletes.
Wow.
So it was all of that, and it came in many different directions. It may have been working on a sponsorship. It may have been involvement with brands. If you look at the world of sports, it has so many tentacles as far as what is sports. And again, leagues, arenas, teams, ownership groups, individual athletes. It touched on all of that. And within the world of PwC and big accounting, it could have been audit, it could have been tax, it could have been consulting.
So it looks like someone gave you a call from KPMG or you were recruited over there to run the show. Were you head of sales and marketing?
So I led tax sales for the New York market and worked
Wow.
on some other projects there. And
Okay.
it was candidly a personal opportunity to move at that time, I thought, back to New York,
Okay.
which is what I wanted to do personally. It was a chance to diversify and grow my career, and had a great experience at KPMG. They're an amazing firm, and also touched on some of their sports involvement. Also, they have an amazing golf brand,
Oh, wow.
and I was able to get involved in that.
And then somehow you were persuaded to come back to the legal industry. I noticed that you are at MWE or McDermott Will and Emery
Yep.
for almost, yeah, it's about 2.5 years. National Marketing and Business Development Director, which seemed to be a trend. People were kind of converting the CMO title into BD. Is that correct?
Well, what it was, Chris, it was really, they were at the forefront of this idea of sales in the legal world. And their vision was, let's start a sales program, which
Okay.
obviously has been the continuance of my career. But the idea being, let's support the partners of our law firm by having someone and a team bring in new clients into the firm. And that's what I was asked to do. I started and led the sales team at McDermott.
Um, and it looks like a number of people experienced some things during COVID. So you found
Mm-hmm.
yourself um, having a vacation during COVID at that time, and then I know you and I had spoke around then,
Mm-hmm.
and then a firm called Sheppard Mullin gave you a call. I believe you were sought after and said, hey, can you do that with us? Is that correct?
That's exactly right. And I'm so grateful. Listen, I'm grateful for the opportunity at McDermott and truly grateful for the opportunity I'm now enjoying at Sheppard Mullin. Their vision was similar. Our partners are very busy practicing law, managing risk, taking care of their clients, and we have a vision to grow the firm. Let's find someone for whom that's their core competency. There really is a skill and a career in professional services sales, and let's hire someone that's all they do. And the vision is based on our firm's strengths, bring in new clients, identify new clients, get in there, and help work with our partners to bring them into the firm.
So you shared with me that when you joined Sheppard Mullin, you conducted a type of survey, reaching out to 30 plus law firms. Love to hear your thoughts on some of the findings.
It was actually last summer. So I've been with Sheppard Mullin 3.5 years. It was last summer.
Okay.
I reached out and spoke with 31 like-minded professionals in the law business, either chief marketing officers, chief business development officers, sales leaders, to try to understand what their sales landscape is. And it was really interesting, Chris. There are probably 6 or 7 other firms that are doing similar things to what we're doing here, having external-facing sales professionals. There were probably another 6 or 7 that had a somewhat similar role, but had curbed that and weren't doing anymore. There were another 6 or 7 who said, gosh, I really wish we had this. We've thought about it, but we haven't been able to launch it. And there were a whole bunch who said, yeah, we'd love to have it, but it'll never work at our firm. So thanks. So it was really an interesting cross-section. And even within the group of 6 or 7 of us who have external-facing sales resources, we all do it somewhat differently. Some are geographically focused. Some are practice group focused. Some are industry focused. So there is the model of an external-facing sales professional supporting the partners in the firm, but we're all doing a little bit differently based on the profile of the firm and what's best for their firm.
It's fascinating. Let's jump in. Why do you think, or I guess share the obvious with us. Many of us know why many law firms don't have this function, but would love to just kind of get your insights since you've been in this world.
I mean, it's definitely different. The Big Four in the accounting world have had external-facing sales professionals for decades, and it's been very successful. I can tell you why it works at my firm, and that is, first of all, the culture of our firm. Second of all, I'm a professional services sales professional. That is my skill and my craft and my trade. So I've been successful in identifying prospective clients, beginning that relationship, helping introduce our partners, and really communicate our value proposition in a really effective way. Our partners and our attorneys are excellent in their practice of law, but what I do is a different part of the business. So it's sort of combining the best of both worlds, professional services sales with legal expertise and our ability to begin relationships with general counsels, chief legal officers, compliance officers to start that relationship. So it's just a really great model. It works so well for our firm. It may not work for other firms. I'm grateful that it works for ours.
If you were approached by a law firm chairman, managing partner, male, female today, said, Marty, how can we do this? How do we follow through on this? What's your 3 to 5 steps for them to begin thinking about this process?
I think there's an evaluation of the firm and their culture. Is this something that will be desired, accepted, and successful within the firm? And part of that is the culture of the firm and the profile of the firm and the partners and the structure. So I think it's take a look at yourself in the mirror and see, is there a possibility here? Second of all, I would surely talk with your existing marketing or business development leadership to see from their point of view, would this work and how would it work based on their current experiences with the attorneys of the firm. Potentially surely talk with your partners and say, as co-owners of this firm, what are your perceptions of the possibility of this? So I think a lot of it is really looking at yourselves in the mirror and asking some great questions to say, where's the value proposition and will this work? I would say possibly talk to your competitors, as I did, talk to people in the business and get their perspectives, maybe with like-minded firms, of whether this would or wouldn't work.
What would you say is the single greatest issue that kind of prevents from these either continuing, or is it just a value for it?
Well, it's a hard question for me to answer. I can't really answer why another firm doesn't do it. I can share why it works here. It's the value. There's great collaboration between myself and the attorneys of our firm and our marketing and business development professionals. So there's transparency, there's collaboration, there's admiration. So it works really well here because of our culture and the fact that we are bringing in great new clients for the firm.
So walk my audience through either what your day looks like, and then
Mhm.
this idea of how your role fits in with the client and the partner doing the work.
Sure.
How does that work?
Well, everything starts candidly with following what I will call the ABA, the American Bar Association's best practices for going after new business. And they're really best practices. We shouldn't be cold calling. In other words, I shouldn't be reaching out to the general counsel of a company with whom I have absolutely no relationship with that general counsel or that company. There has to be some relationship, and those are really just, it's a matter of respect and best practices. This is a relationship business. Our opportunity to bring in a new client is going to be based on our ability to build a trusted relationship and transparency. So it really starts with that. We've looked at where's the strengths of our firm, where's the marquees of our firms, and I follow that path. Surely use a lot of my existing network, key influencers, be them accountants, bankers, venture capitalists. I mean, who might know Mary Jones, the general counsel of the ABC company, and how might I get an introduction? I want to rely heavily on the opportunity for an introduction versus the other side of the coin, which is a cold call, which I'm willing to do based on some existing relationship, but I'd rather do that. I'm also a heavy-duty LinkedIn user and fan, so I use LinkedIn every single day for information, for leads, for ideas, for looking for thought leadership. I'm trying to have an educated conversation. So following ABA rules, using great resources, my day is a mix of always looking for potential new clients, following up on existing sales opportunities, following up and being involved in active sales opportunities, surely working with my partners and our internal teams on all of these pursuits. So it's a big mix. I will tell you that every single day I have time blocked on my calendar for sales. There's so many things we all do in our day beyond our core job. I need to make sure that every day I'm dedicating a period of time to sales, nothing but sales, looking for new business, because that's what I'm supposed to be doing, and that's really what my core role is. So I stick to that every single day, and it's actually very rewarding.
You had mentioned to me that you travel a fair amount, and you don't coach or mentor. So you're very focused on sales and CRM, sales quotas, and performance. That's kind of your world, correct?
Yeah, and I'll take a step back. I think my coaching and mentoring is part of my sales efforts. I'm
Yeah.
not leading, coaching teams or mentoring teams or things like that. My focus is really sales, and we all get asked a lot of things in our day. I sort of draw a straight line between, is the request a direct line to a potential new client and sale or not? And if it's not, it may be another resource within our firm that will cover that. But I'm involved in sales, and yes, that is really what my day is focused on. Tracking sales, trying to bring in sales. It's a metrics-driven business.
You had mentioned to me before this phrase called go-to-market structure for big accounting. I just want to revisit this. What are, and you alluded to it a little bit, but what are big accounting doing and how are they just basically more successful at sales using this function?
Um, I'd say they're more mature. They've been doing it longer with potentially more resources from a human capital perspective. Um, they've built everything from sales professionals to business development professionals to marketing teams, and even within there, things such as key account programs or prioritized pursuit teams. If a sales pursuit is of a certain revenue level, um, they've had the experience and the time to really diversify and grow and build in ways that we're going towards, but we haven't gotten to yet. So I think that's really the difference. And when I say to go to market, it's what is the voice of the firm from a marketing perspective, a marketing branding perspective, from a business development perspective, from a sales perspective. I think those are sort of the three legs of the stool that potentially make up a go-to-market platform.
Another question, Marty, is say someone in our audience has a sales background and thinking of or already is in the market with professional service firms looking to go into legal and help and support a corporate law firm. What advice would you give them as the legal industry continues to evolve?
Well, the first advice I'd give them is go for it. I think there's so much potential here in our business, and it's tremendously rewarding. I find it to be challenging, fun. Every adjective that you can give it is probably in my vocabulary of what goes on every day. I think, like all professionals, especially sales professionals, create and communicate your value proposition. What do you have to offer that law firm in you as a person and as a professional and as a team member, where they listen to you and go, wow, this is really compelling. We really need to listen to you because you're a great person. You'll be a great citizen of the firm. And the ROI on what you're promising is really compelling. So market yourself, build your value proposition. So when you approach law firms, they listen and they understand. But I think the potential is right now is untapped in our business. I think it's great.
Marty, let's shift a little bit. I know I was asking you about books and had this interest with sports and on the back of your wall there. So you've mentioned to me you had interest in biographies, sports books, things like that. Tell my audience a little bit about what you're reading or maybe a book you'd recommend.
Um, I try to diversify what I read. I love the business of sports. So right now I'm working on a book called City of Dreams, which is about the history of the land acquisition and the building of Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles and what it meant to the city of Los Angeles as well as the city of Brooklyn. So that's one I'm working on. Working on a couple of, I always seem to have a number of books that I'm working on. Kitchen Confidential, a couple of books about the history of the California Golden Seals. Also a big World War II history fan, so read books about D-Day. Recently went on holiday to London and visited the Churchill War Rooms.
Oh, wow.
So I'm learning a little bit about Winston Churchill, reading a biography of Queen Elizabeth. So kind of all over the place. Candidly, I haven't spent a lot of time reading business books. Not that I can't improve from them, but I try to take a break from that and diversify my reading into other interests.
Oh, I greatly appreciate that. Have you come across Apple's new TV series on World War II?
I haven't yet,
There's
but
actually there's two of them. There's one on Christian Dior
wow.
um, and the fashion industry during Nazi occupation of France. It's really fascinating. And then the other one is their version of Band of Brothers, but it's the bombers of the United States.
I've seen that on Apple TV. I just haven't started watching, but I will.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Great. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Um, so I'd love to pick your brain on what are you seeing in the market that could be coming that law firm leaders may want to think about or consider as the industry evolves? That could
Mm.
be a trend, that could be sales related, but I would love for you to share.
Great question, Chris. What I'm experiencing is a greater push for value. Um, there's always price pressure in any business, whether you're a chief financial officer or general counsel. What I'm seeing in our business is a press for more value. What are you going to give my company as our legal counsel that's above and beyond what we're getting now? But, in essence, it's a higher quality value proposition.
Hmm.
Um, help us more. Help us see around the corner. Help us have the rear view mirror to see what's coming behind us. Protect us, position us, more value. That's what I'm seeing as the new value proposition and the new distinguishing characteristics that general counsels and chief legal officers want. Um, and it's a great dynamic because we should be providing that in all of our roles to all of our clients, internal, external. But what I'm hearing more is, what else do you have to help us be better from a legal counsel point of view? So I think that would be my best answer.
And what would that look like? What sort of things are they
Hmm.
hoping to see?
Um, industry insights. Um, Insights on if they're facing a legal challenge, what have we seen or what's been experienced in the past? It's more than just reciting counsel. It's saying, I'm a bit as your partner, I'm a business professional as you general counsel are for your company. Let's have more business conversations in this world of law than just reciting legal counsel. And I think that's been a really positive change in the last 3 years is we're all better at being business partners and business professionals with our clients than just being legal counsel. And that, I think, is what general counsels want as they provide leadership counsel to their own companies to say, we've spoken with Mary Jones, our partner at Sheppard Mullin, and here's her perspective on the situation, more than in 1994, this case came up, here's what happened.
Right. Right. I'm thinking of McKinsey. They have this app and they put out all of this incredible researched, empirical and like actual research studied. Is that kind of thing?
Absolutely. You bring up a really great resource, and that's the world of thought leadership. There's so much great thought leadership from the consulting firms, from other law firms. I mean, there's so much great information out there. Our ability to share that with clients is great because it's thought leadership. It's leadership with great ideas. And candidly, in my practice of sales, I rely heavily on thought leadership of firms like McKinsey, Gartner, other firms that I'm aware of, plus our competitors, and candidly, what I see coming from the big four. So thought leadership is an amazing tool and really thoughtful. And something else that I should bring up in my practice of sales, I rely heavily on thought leadership to talk with existing clients or prospective clients to share perspectives to say, I'm aware of this going on in your business or in your geography. This is now relevant. How is this affecting you? And would you like to have a conversation with us about that? And in many ways, it's the best selling and the best marketing I can do is to deliver thought leadership and have these conversations with clients.
Yeah, very powerful. I I can only imagine the challenge for law firm management to say, "Hey guys, I need more of you,"
Mm.
versus I'm wondering, having people dedicated to thought leadership versus billable hour. I'm thinking there's just simply more human capital in these larger public accounting consulting organizations dedicated to that. Do you have any thoughts around how these
Well, it's
organizations?
always a thoughtful mix, and I think it may depend on the firm and the culture. it's been really successful for us, and I am very well
Nice.
provided and very, very well tooled with great tools. And I go out to clients 5 days a week, 6 days a week, or prospective clients with news I see or information about their business, their competitors, their industry, their geographies. A great example is the state of Illinois last year had some new labor and employment legislation and rules that came in. I reached out to 2 clients in the state of Illinois saying, I want to make sure you're aware of it. And both of those were conversations that said, absolutely, and we need to speak to someone at your firm about this because we want to get ahead of this. Thank you for sharing. There wasn't any selling there. That was just being a good partner with my client, keeping them informed and protecting them and guiding them. And that's really, I always say, I want to be selling without selling.
Yeah, that's really powerful. That's exciting.
I'm not sure anybody can be sold to,
Yeah,
but if I can be a valued resource and a partner to my clients and my prospective clients, then I'm representing my firm and supporting them well.
yeah, yeah, makes complete sense. Marty, how can people find you, contact you, follow you on social media?
LinkedIn, LinkedIn. My contact information is there. I love LinkedIn. I am tremendously respectful of my contacts and that network. So I take it with great sincerity, but all my contact information or an invitation to connect on LinkedIn is right there, Chris.
Excellent. Marty, it's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for your time today.
Chris, I've enjoyed this so much, and I hope your audience learn a little bit more about the legal sales environment.